Had to cough. I scared her. She's hanging out with Aunt Ruby. I think Mom's sneaking up on me, though. How are y'all doing? As you can tell, I'm in the car. I got to run an errand for the #1 farmhand. Got to run over to Lamar, Missouri. But anyway, I believe I have watched the most disturbing video that I have watched in a while. And it's not about the weather, air quotes, the weather balloon, the Chinese weather balloon floating over the country, which is a bit unsettling. What I'm talking about, Yanasa TV, or Yanasa, I think's how he said it, or Yanasa, I don't know, YANASA TV. And it should disturb everyone. I put it on my personal or Facebook page. I put it on my Hal and Harry on the Prairie Facebook page. It's a little bit long, but there's a lot of information there. And what he's talking about should have us all worried. He covers a lot of bases. Woo! And I suggest you go watch it. It's the one he just put out today. And it talks about the meat situation in the United States through 2025. And probably, there's repercussions beyond that. And talking about real meat, beef, pork, chicken. Man, it should make everybody at least nervous. Just like I said, at least nervous. Oh, some of this I foresaw coming, just like anybody that kind of pays attention to what's going on with agriculture. The extreme heat that we had in the Midwest and in Texas, and the stuff, the geopolitical things that are going on in the world with, of course, the United States, Russia, China, Iran. Sorry, I misspoke. It's Iran. I don't know if y'all know it, but Israel launched a drone attack on Iran the other day. Now, I don't know whether Israel was justified or not. I haven't looked into that. But it has implications. Like I said, there's a lot going on. He talks about crops. How in the United States our corn crop is down. There was less planted last year, but then I know, especially in this area, a lot of people they didn't even try to harvest any corn. They just cut it down and turned it into silage, which I don't know. I need to talk to somebody that knows one of these days, but I think silage is just chopped up corn stalks and You know, maybe a little bit of corn off the cob or on the cob. You know, it's probably not on the cob anymore, but you know, and you know, there's a lot of things that are coming up that affect everything. The pork industry is going to be affected. Of course, poultry, we know some of the problems, and he quoted a new number on the chickens that we've lost, or that have had to be destroyed because of the bird flu, the avian influenza, and his number is like 60 million. You know, I'm sure that's your meat birds and your layers. And then he touched on all of the poultry house fires. And, you know, he didn't put out any conspiracy theories. He kind of hinted at a couple, but he didn't come out and say anything about them. He just said, look, here's the facts. This is what has happened. This is what it looks like is going to happen. You know, and you've heard the statistic that I've used the statistic that the average farmer in the United States is 60. Well, the statistic he stated was 65. You know, the average American farmer is 65 years old. And, you know, then we have the cost of land and how foreign governments buying the land and billionaires buying the land is driving the prices up so that, you know, people can't afford to buy it. I mean, you know, $2,000 and $3,000 an acre is crazy. And, you know, there's just the government overreach and what they're doing. The one that he really talks about is, I want to say it's called the Clean Waters Act. I highly suggest to go find this video and watch it. UNASA TV. That's the YouTube channel. You know, he has done some research and he got in the weeds and he, you know, he did a great job explaining all of this. But the pork is going to be affected because China's own pigs in their own country, they had some kind of problem there. And then there was a glut of amino acids. Evidently, China produces a majority of the world's amino acid supplies. And I don't know, this all was a little complicated because he's talking about these amino acids, and there was a glut on amino acids, so that drove the price of feed down. And now, you know, China's building up their own hog herd, so to speak, their national herd. And it's driving the feed prices up because of these amino acids. I don't know what exactly they're putting in there, but according to him, it's going to affect our pork prices. And then he also talked about, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting out of order on all of this, but he talked also about our own government implementing, I believe it's called the Clean Water Act. And basically what that means is that the United States government now owns every river, every lake, every pond, don't matter the size, and that also includes dry creek beds. You know, if they have water running through them at any time, it is now government property, and that really limits what you can do and where, which I think is absolutely government overreach. Supposedly it's aimed at these big confined animal operations, you know, CAFOs. And I can't remember what CAFO stands for, CAFO. But it's going to affect everyone. I mean, it's just a backdoor way into telling you that you can't, you have to get permission from the government to do anything on your own land that you bought, paid for, or are paying for. I mean, and pay taxes on. I mean, it's crazy. You buy a piece of land and then you have to pay taxes on it. It's basically is rent. And now they're telling you that if, you know, you have to have permission to do this. And then back to the chicken thing, this avian flu that they got, you know, there's some kind of bird flu every year, according to him, usually around October or so, when the migratory birds start moving. And there's a strain this year to where it's never quite gone away. They still have it. There's still a lot of cases of it, which tells me they're going to be destroying even more birds, you know, fowl, chickens and turkeys specifically, since I'm talking about agriculture here. And because of it, they're looking into permitting. You will have to buy a permit to have chickens. And they're really looking into your backyard chickens. You have to have a permit to have, you know, 4 or 5 chickens in your backyard. Which again, stinks of government overreach. Any government, whether it's the county government or a city government or state, you know, and federal is absolutely an overreach. Like I said, go watch that video. I'll try to go look it back up and get the title of it and put it down in my description. This stuff is crazy. And, you know, because of the drought, a lot of these big ranchers sold off. They were even selling heifers. And I talked about that in other videos. You know, usually they keep back the heifers and sell the steers and the older cows that, you know, are past their prime. Or the ones they just need to cull. Well, that caused, you know, beef prices to go down on the short term here recently because, you know, they got all this influx of beef. Well, because they didn't save any heifers back, that's what they replaced them old cows with. They don't have any new breeding stock, and they're going to have to wait a while to get, you know, a cow is almost 2 years old before she gets bred the first time. So the calves that are born right now, you know, that are about to be born, I think calving season is usually in the late winter and early spring, at least around here. And that's when most of them are born. But even at that, say April is the peak say? Just, I don't know. I'm just plucking a month out of thin air there. So if April this year they have a good calf crop, we're getting rain, and all these calves are growing over the next year to 18 months, and they got plenty of grass, then they'll save back those heifers. But they won't be having calves again in the gestation period on a cow. I just looked it up. Is 10 months. So let's say you breed that cow at 18 months, it's a year and a half old, and then it's almost another year before it has a calf. You're looking, and then even then, that calf, if it's a bull calf that they make a steer, it won't be ready for market for another 18 months after that. So there's going to be a shortage of beef, folks. And this isn't no conspiracy theory. This is all facts. You can definitely go look up. I'm thinking if you've got property and you've got some young heifers, yearling heifers, then you might be setting pretty good. If the four big companies that control the beef industry are willing to pay for it. It's getting crazy, folks. It's time to start an alternative economy, a parallel economy. If you're where you can, find local farmers to buy your chicken, your pork, and your beef. It's a lot of money up front. Just like if you buy a pig from me, by the time you get it processed at home, you're into it over $600. But you have, a pile of pork in your freezer, around 100 pounds of pork in your freezer. That's $600 a pound, or $6 a pound. Sorry, $6 a pound. But you can go, at least for me, you can come and look at my pigs and see what I do. I'll tell you what I feed them. I am not, I repeat, not organic or non-GMO. My feed is bought locally from a local feed mill. They buy local feed. I'm sure that's not totally local, but all their grains, they buy local soybeans, local corn, all of that. But I don't use any steroids, don't use antibiotics unless they're needed, and I haven't needed any so far. But my point is, find a local farmer or farmers, hit your farmers markets up, and if you can't find any online or any local, even if you say you live in New York City as an example, huge city, there are farmers markets there. I have found out there's some people outside of New York City, that out in the state, that go into the city and sell these meat products. So there's hope. But if you can't find a farmer's market or a local farmer to deal with, get online and there are people out there. I know Sheraton Park Farms. They're on YouTube. They have a website. They deliver. They ship meat. They overnight it. It's going to be costly. You know, but you know, you can go watch their YouTube channel and see how they raise their meat. Okay, well, I'm just about to my first stop here, so I'm gonna stop for a little bit. Alrighty, we're gonna wrap this video up. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna add any pig video to this one. I think that there's enough information there. Hopefully you've watched this far. Most people don't watch all the way to the end of my videos anyway. Just on a slightly different note from the stuff going on with our food, I find it fascinating. I've been putting out some shorts, and the last few have mostly been, well, I don't know, they've been kind of mixed up, but I put out some kitten videos of Butterball and Biscuit. Just amazes me that, of course, all the videos are under 20 seconds, so I guess I understand it. But getting more watch time from those little videos than I am getting from my full-length videos. I think that says something about our society. You know, of course, you know, I don't want to be too judgmental here because I know my videos aren't that great. I'm not a captivating speaker, so and not much to look at either, so I get it. But just found that kind of interesting. You know, like this video probably won't get much view time. That's alright. I kind of enjoy making it, and it kind of makes me feel like I'm making a difference, whether I am or not. So, I am now going to wrap this up. Let's all look out for each other. Let's help each other out when we can. And let's all pray. I'm to the point where I'm thinking the only thing that's really going to get us out of this mess is divine intervention anyway. So, catch y'all later. Oh, there she goes. She's going to go up to the barn with Aunt Ruby.